Hey, this is Tom Toronto. Welcome to the Tom Toronto Show. Today we have a special guest. It's Paul Daley with Beachside Termite and Pest Control. Thanks for coming out this morning, Paul.
No problem, Tom. Good to be here.
You want to tell our viewers who you are, what you do for a living?
Sure. I'm Paul Daley. I'm the owner of Beachside Termite and Pest Control, and we do pest control, termite treatments, termite bonds.
So tell me about something that has grossed you out over the years.
So many things over the years. Some that come to mind. I'd get a call they say they have roaches, but they're not too bad. I'd walk up to the house, and as I was walking up to the house, roaches, especially German roaches, if they're really bad, the feces of a German roach has a very distinct smell. So as I'm approaching the house, I could smell the German roaches even before I get to the front door.
So it's bad infestation.
Oh, yeah. I'd be sitting at a kitchen table signing a contract, and a roach would run across the contract as I'm signing it. Or I'd be standing in the kitchen, and a roach, it would be so full, the walls of roaches, that they would come out and go under 1 foot of my shoe. And as I walk, it would run from one shoe to the other shoe.
Wow.
That's pretty bad.
That's creepy. Yeah, it's not a house you want to. And that's something that obviously has been going on for quite a long time to get that bad.
For German roaches,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
I
wow.
mean, they knew they had a problem. A lot of times people just can't afford it.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, something that's interesting for our listeners, is termite bonds. So the more I've gotten to know about this subject, I've learned that there's some people have termite bonds that essentially don't do them any good when they need them. Can you give our listeners a little bit about what the different types are?
So there are termite bonds that just cover subterranean termites. There are termite bonds that cover drywood termites. There's bonds that eliminate Formosan termites, and that's a form of a ground termite. The main thing is you have to read your contract and see what you're covered for. Gotcha. And some termite bonds just cover retreat only, and
Right.
some cover retreat and repair. So that's something you're going to want to look at.
Right. Okay. So some couple specific cases that I experienced was a client that they had a termite bond, so they thought that they were protected, but when it came around to it, it was drywood termites, and they were not protected. So they had been paying for 15 years on something that they really didn't get any benefit from in that situation.
Well, they still got the benefit for being covered for the subterranean termites.
Okay.
But drywood termites, it's a big surprise that they're not covered for drywood termites.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies that do not put a preventative treatment for a house for drywood termites.
Right.
Could be they either don't offer it, or there's no way to treat as a preventative for drywood termites. Another thing also is just recently, in the last maybe 10 years or so, companies offered protection for drywood termites. Prior, it was just subterranean. The reason being, when you treat for subterranean, you treat the ground for it. Drywood termites, you have to actually treat the house.
Okay. What does that involve?
Preventative, you have to, say, go into the attic and treat exposed timber. If there is no access in the attic, or it has insulation that is on the roof decking, that foam or
Right.
the radiant barrier, there's no way to treat the attic. So you can't get prevention for it. If it comes down that you actually get drywood termites, then at that point you would have to do a fumigation.
So what does a fumigation involve?
It takes 3 days total. You have to move out of the house for 2 nights. You have to take all the food out of the house, in the refrigerator, the freezer, anything that's not factory sealed in a can, good, or a jar. Any live plants you have to take out. The technician has to have access to every single room to make sure there's no live bodies in there. A crew will come to the house and put a tarp over the top of the house, get sealed to the ground, then they pump a gas into it, it's designed to go through all the pores of the wood.
And they call that tenting.
Yeah,
or the
fumigation and tenting,
Okay.
correct.
So I'm understanding then the tenting or the fumigation is going to be a lot more expensive than just a treatment, a spraying for termites.
Typically, a drywood termite fumigation is more expensive than a preventative, say, subterranean termite treatment.
Okay.
There's a lot more involved with it. One big thing I want to mention also is when the tent comes off, it's just a gas, so you don't have to wash anything down. That's a lot of people think they have to do that, which you do not.
So, and then as far as, so some of them cover only the subterraneans, some cover the dry woods, and then some of them are only a retreat protection, and others would actually repair damage that's done from the termites?
Correct. There's retreat bonds and retreat and repair bonds. A retreat bond is if you get subterranean termites or drywood termites, then a company would go back in there and retreat at no charge.
Okay.
A retreat and repair is they would actually come in there, treat the house if there was activity, and wherever there were live termites, they would repair the damage.
Okay. And normal home insurance doesn't cover anything to do with termites?
No,
normally,
not
right?
at all. Also, I want to mention that a contract, if you do have a repair guarantee, company comes in there and there is no live termites in the wood, that's considered old damage,
Okay.
and it is not covered.
I gotcha. Okay. So tell me about rats. Is that something that you take care of as well?
Rats, especially during the winter time as it gets colder out, they like to get into the attic where it's warm. All they need is a whole thickness of your finger to get inside. And once a rat starts walking around up there, a rat actually urinates down its leg, rolls down its leg every time it walks. And it's got a very strong pheromone that other rats outside can smell it. They think it's a good place to survive, to live, and so they'll start coming in.
Okay.
So if you take care of the rats, you have to make sure that you seal the holes properly.
They can get in through extremely small spaces, right?
Correct. And what happens is that pheromone's so strong, they're going to claw and gnaw their way to get back inside. So you have to use the proper material to do it.
So what kind of damage can rats do if they, let's say, get in your attic?
They can chew wires, pipes, insulation to get into your AC ducts, which I think you had somebody, one of your customers, happen. Yeah.
Pretty serious incident. Yeah, this in the case where it was a house that I had sold, they discovered that the rats had basically chewed holes in the ductwork in the attic. And so and the inspector knew it because when he went up there, he says he could feel the cold air.
Yeah.
And it's normally 100 degrees up there.
Right.
And these rats had even bit through some of the metal boxes, and there was enough moisture from the condensation from this freezing cold air hitting this hot air. So a lot of the ductwork was full of water and mold. So all of that had to be replaced. It was over $10,000.
Yep.
So the rats did a lot of damage on that case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that something that is that covered by home insurance, or is that something that the person
No,
says?
it's not. Yeah. So I mean, if you're ever hearing anything in the attic, you're not sure. If you want to try it yourself, go outside, see if you see any holes if they're getting in.
Okay.
If you're hearing something, more than likely you probably do have something in the attic. We get a lot of calls with false alarms. Say we go out, no holes in the attic, and what's happening are squirrels or something just running across the roof of the house.
Oh, okay.
So just cutting back the limbs for your house would help a lot with that.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about bed bugs. Is it common in our area?
It's getting more common as people go on vacation. We were right near Orlando, Disney World, and
You're getting them from the hotels.
yes,
Okay.
they'll spend the night not knowing there's a problem and put their luggage out, and as the next day they pack everything up, or the week later, they can actually bring the bed bugs home with them.
So what do you have to do to treat bed bugs?
If you just get bed bugs, if you just noticed it, one or two, a lot of times we can do a traditional treatment by liquid treating, dusting inside a room.
And they're not just in the bed.
No, they're hitchhikers actually. So you could be in the bed, get on your pajamas, go to the living room, sit down on the couch, and now they're in your couch. And they lay eggs in cracks and crevices of the rooms.
And they actually bite people, so you get...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't feel it when they bite. They don't itch The good thing is bed bugs don't carry diseases, so
Okay.
you don't have to worry about that.
So what's the most extreme way to when they're hard to
The
kill?
extreme way also is tenting, the fumigation is the best way
Okay.
because it will penetrate the eggs. The eggs are very difficult to kill. The live ones you can very easily kill, but it's the eggs that will sit dormant for a while. There's also a heating method that they can come and seal the room, take all the stuff out that might melt, and keep the temperature. I think it's 130 degrees. They hold it for a certain amount of hours.
So they would heat up that room that the bed bugs are in.
Correct, and then kill them that way.
Interesting. Okay. So if I see something that I think is a termite in my house, how do I know that it's not just an ant or a flying ant?
The main thing is if you look at the ant, if you look at it and you're not sure, I have some samples. A subterranean termite would have 4 identical wings. An ant has 2 big wings and 2 small wings.
Okay.
And the body is a 3-segmented body for an ant, and a termite is a 1-segmented body.
Just one single.
One segment. If you really look closer, the antennae of an ant are elbowed, and a termite is straight. Difference between the 2 termites, they both swarm, and when they swarm, what they're doing is reproducing, and their wings are made to fall off. And, a subterranean termite are black in color, and the wings are opaque.
And they live in the ground.
The subterraneans live in the ground.
And they come and eat wood and then go back into the ground.
Yep. These are actually subterranean termites. They're look like little white maggots. And there are workers and what they call soldiers. They have little pinchers. A subterranean colony could be up to 1 million.
Right.
And they put down a little pheromone. They come up and they smell the wood. And they eat it, and they fill those little mud tunnels, and they go back and forth. The reason why you have the mud tunnels is because they live in the ground.
Okay.
Now, drywood termites are similar, but they're brown in color, and it's a different season that these swarm. They're later in the springtime.
Okay.
And their wings have a little rainbow tint to it, and they're same thing, 4 identical wings.
Okay.
And the bodies are brown. So you could be cleaning the house, seeing the wings on the windowsill, but not sure what it is, just thinks it's from bugs and clean it up. And then every year you'll see these wings at the same time of year, or you see them flying around.
So there could be drywoods up in my trusses, eating my trusses, and I just wouldn't know it.
Another thing, well, you can have an inspector to come out. We can do annual inspections.
Okay.
Another thing is termite frass. It's shaped a certain way. And there's 6 concave sides. What happens is drywood termites, hence the name drywood, they live in the wood itself, in the house. You have to treat the house. And they eat the wood, and they squeeze all the moisture they can out of it, and basically they poop that out.
If I see that frass, that's pretty irrefutable evidence that I have drywood termites. If it's
correct.
So, Paul, if you want to give us all a tip as a pest control person, obviously, if we hire you to come and treat our place, but is there anything else that we can do to manage pests?
Big thing is keep stuff away from your house. If you have a lot of bushes, they're all overgrown, touching the house, is a lot of heavy mulch, just haven't touched it for a while. It's a great breeding place for bugs, and they can come in. Another thing is get your house sealed. Take one day, go outside, seal all the windows, door frames, see if there's any gaps.
If our viewers wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
They can call, my office number is 321-750-4100, or they can go to the website. It's getbeachside.com, G-E-T beachside.com.
Okay, getbeachside.com. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for coming out today, Paul. I really appreciate it. Hopefully our listeners and viewers got some insights and things about pest control that they didn't have before. And I really appreciate your time. And thank you for watching. Tune in to the next episode on the Tom Taranto Show.